Manchester United's big move for Carlos Boliba. Why this transfer could change everything. Welcome to United News, your trusted source for all things Manchester United. When it comes to transfer news, rumors, and the latest updates about our beloved Red Devils, we bring you the facts that matter. Today, we dive deep into one of the most exciting transfer stories of the summer: Manchester United's pursuit of Brighton's rising star Carlos Boliba. Have you ever wondered what it takes to build a championship-winning team? Sometimes it means taking bold risks and making moves that seem impossible. Right now, Manchester United is doing exactly that with their interest in Carlos Boliba, a young midfielder who could transform the club's future. Who is Carlos Boliba and why does everyone want him? Carlos Boliba is not just another young player trying to make his mark in football. At just 21 years old, this Cameroonian midfielder has already shown he belongs among the best defensive midfielders in Europe. But how did he get here so quickly? The story begins in France with Lille, where Boliba first caught the attention of scouts across Europe. Brighton saw something special in him and decided to invest £23 million to bring him to the Premier League in August 2023. That investment has paid off tremendously. Since joining Brighton, Boliba has become a key player for the team. He reads the game like a veteran, breaks up opposition attacks, and starts his own team's moves forward. His physical presence on the pitch is impressive, but what really sets him apart is his football intelligence. He seems to always be in the right place at the right time. What makes Boliba so attractive to big clubs like Manchester United? First, his age works in his favor. At 21, he has many years ahead of him to develop and improve. Second, he has already proven himself in the Premier League, one of the toughest leagues in the world. Third, his playing style fits perfectly with modern football tactics. Brighton knew they had a gem on their hands, and now other clubs are taking notice. The question is, will Manchester United be able to convince both Brighton and the player to make this move happen? Manchester United makes their move. When Manchester United wants a player, they usually get serious about it. The club recently made contact with Brighton to explore the possibility of signing Boliba. This was not just a casual inquiry. It was a serious attempt to understand what it would take to make the transfer happen. But here is where things get interesting. Brighton does not want to lose their star midfielder. They have made it clear that any club wanting Boliba will have to pay a massive fee. Reports suggest Brighton is asking for £100 million or more. That is a huge amount of money for any player, let alone someone who has been in the Premier League for just over a year. So why would Manchester United even consider paying such an enormous fee? The answer lies in their long-term planning. The club believes Boliba could be a cornerstone of their midfield for the next decade. They see him as someone who could grow into a world-class player under the right guidance. Manchester United's interest is not just about the present. It is about building for the future. They know that finding the right players at the right age can make the difference between success and failure in the coming years. The player's perspective. What does Boliba want? Transfer deals are never just about money between clubs. The player's wishes often determine whether a move actually happens. So what does Carlos Boliba think about potentially joining Manchester United? According to reliable sources, Boliba is very interested in the move. Playing for Manchester United represents a step up in his career. The club's history, global reputation, and ambitious projects appeal to young players who want to compete at the highest level. The financial aspect also matters. A move to Manchester United would come with a significant salary increase for Boliba. While money is not everything, it shows the club's commitment to making him a key player. Boliba understands that Brighton has been good to him. They gave him the chance to prove himself in the Premier League and helped develop his skills. However, football careers are short, and opportunities to join clubs like Manchester United do not come around often. The young midfielder also knows that Manchester United is building something special under their current management. Being part of that project from the early stages could be very rewarding both personally and professionally. United players step in the power of personal connections. One of the most fascinating aspects of this potential transfer is how Manchester United players are getting involved. 3 current United stars are reportedly encouraging Boliba to make the move to Old Trafford. Lenny Yoro, who joined Manchester United recently, has a special connection with Boliba. Both players were teammates at Lille in France before moving to the Premier League. Euro knows Boliba's character and abilities better than most. His recommendation carries significant weight. Andre Onana, Manchester United's goalkeeper, represents another important connection. Both Onana and Boliba are from Cameroon and play for their national team together. Onana can explain what it is like to be at Manchester United and how the club treats its African players. Brian Bumo, though not currently at Manchester United, is also a Cameroonian international who has been linked with moves to bigger clubs. The connections between players from the same country often play a crucial role in transfer decisions. These personal relationships matter more than people might think. When a player hears positive things about a club from teammates he trusts, it can influence his decision significantly. The fact that United players are actively reaching out to Boliba shows how much they want him to join the team. What the experts are saying. Football journalism has produced some excellent insights into this potential transfer. Two respected journalists have shared their thoughts on the situation, giving fans a clearer picture of what might happen. David Ornstein from The Athletic believes that while many people think this transfer is unlikely, Manchester United is right to try. He points out that there is no harm in asking Brighton about their price for Boliba. If the fee is too high, United can walk away. If it seems achievable, they can continue negotiations. Ornstein also mentioned that there could be fierce competition for Boliba in the future. Other big clubs are watching his progress and might make their own moves. This could be why Manchester United is acting now to get ahead of the competition. Laurie Whitwell, another respected journalist, has provided more details about the situation. He confirmed that Boliba is interested in joining Manchester United and is aware of the salary package being offered. This suggests that preliminary discussions have already taken place. Whitwell also noted that Manchester United manager Ruben Amorim is a fan of Boliba's playing style. Having the support of the manager is crucial for any potential signing. It shows that Boliba would fit into the team's tactical plans. The Brighton factor, a tough negotiation ahead. Brighton has built a reputation as one of the smartest clubs in the transfer market. They buy players at reasonable prices, develop them, and then sell them for huge profits. This model has worked well for them, but it also means they drive hard bargains. The club paid £23 million for Boliba just over a year ago. Now they are reportedly asking for £100 million or more. This represents a massive profit and shows how much his value has increased. Brighton's strategy is understandable from a business perspective. They know that Boliba is a special talent who could become even better. They also know that desperate clubs sometimes pay more than they should for players they really want. However, Brighton also has to consider the player's wishes. If Boliba really wants to leave, keeping an unhappy player might not be the best solution. The club has generally been good about allowing players to move when the right opportunity comes along. The negotiation between Manchester United and Brighton will be fascinating to watch. Both clubs are experienced in big transfers and know how to protect their interests. The final outcome will depend on how much United is willing to pay and how firm Brighton remains on their asking price. Financial fair play, the money question. Modern football is not just about wanting players. Clubs also have to follow financial fair play rules. These regulations limit how much money clubs can spend and when they can spend it. Manchester United has been working within these constraints while trying to build a competitive team. The club has already made several signings and might need to sell players before they can afford someone like Boliba. The £100 million price tag for Boliba would be a significant investment. It would likely make him one of the most expensive defensive midfielders in football history. Manchester United would need to be absolutely certain that he is worth such an investment. Some reports suggest that United might need to sell players before they can afford Boliba. This could mean that some current squad members might have to leave to make room both financially and in terms of squad space. The timing of any sales and purchases will be crucial. If United sells players first, they might lose negotiating power with Brighton. If they try to buy Boliba first, they might struggle with financial fair play regulations. Manager's vision. How Boliba fits Amorim's plans. Ruben Amorim has brought new ideas and tactics to Manchester United. The Portuguese manager has a clear vision of how he wants his team to play, and Boliba seems to fit perfectly into those plans. Amorim prefers a high-energy, pressing style of football where defensive midfielders play a crucial role. They need to win the ball back quickly, distribute it intelligently, and sometimes join attacks when the opportunity arises. Boliba's skill set matches these requirements almost perfectly. He is strong in tackles, good at reading the game, and comfortable with the ball at his feet. His youth and energy would also fit well with Amorim's demanding tactical system. The manager's approval is often the deciding factor in transfer decisions. If Amorim has specifically asked for Boliba, the club will try harder to make the deal happen. This could explain why Manchester United is willing to consider such a high transfer fee. Having a clear role in the team would also appeal to Boliba. Young players want to know that they will get regular playing time and the chance to develop further. Amorim's interest suggests that Boliba would be a key player rather than just a squad option. The competition factor, why timing matters. Football transfers are often about timing. If Manchester United waits too long, other clubs might make their own moves for Boliba. This competitive pressure could force United to act sooner rather than later. Several big European clubs are reportedly monitoring Boliba's progress. His performances in the Premier League have not gone unnoticed by scouts from Spain, Italy, and Germany. If United delays, they might find themselves in a bidding war. There is also the question of Boliba's development. Right now, he is a very good player with great potential. In another year or two, he might be even better, but also much more expensive. Getting him now could represent better value in the long run. Brighton's stance might also change over time. Right now, they can afford to demand a huge fee because they are not desperate to sell. However, circumstances can change quickly in football. Player attitudes, club finances, and management decisions all influence transfer situations. What this transfer could mean for Manchester United. If Manchester United successfully signs Carlos Boliba, it could have far-reaching effects on the club's future. The transfer would send a strong message about the club's ambitions and ability to compete for top talents. From a tactical perspective, Boliba would give Manchester United more options in midfield. His presence would allow other players to take on different roles and responsibilities. The team's overall balance and flexibility would improve significantly. The signing would also demonstrate Manchester United's commitment to building for the future. At 21, Boliba could be a key player for the next decade or more. This kind of long-term planning is essential for sustained success in modern football. For other potential signings, landing Boliba could make Manchester United more attractive. Top players want to join clubs that show ambition and make quality signings. Success in one transfer often leads to success in others. However, there are also risks involved. The high transfer fee means that Boliba would be under enormous pressure to perform immediately. Young players do not always handle such pressure well, and there would be little room for error. The fan perspective, what United supporters are thinking. Manchester United fans have mixed feelings about the potential Boliba transfer. Many are excited about the possibility of signing such a talented young player. They see him as someone who could strengthen the team for years to come. However, some supporters are concerned about the reported transfer fee. £100 million is a lot of money, even for Manchester United. Fans remember other expensive signings that did not work out as planned. There is also debate about whether defensive midfield is the most urgent position to strengthen. Some fans believe the club should focus on other areas of the team first. Others argue that building a strong midfield foundation is crucial for everything else. Social media discussions show that most fans are cautiously optimistic. They like what they have seen of Boliba at Brighton and trust the club's judgment. However, they also want to see the player prove himself at the highest level before declaring the transfer a success. The involvement of current United players in encouraging the move has been well received by fans. It shows team unity and suggests that Boliba would fit well into the squad's culture. Brighton's development model, why they produce stars. Understanding Brighton's success in developing players like Boliba helps explain why this transfer is so significant. The club has created an environment where young talents can flourish without excessive pressure. Brighton's approach focuses on gradual development rather than immediate results. They give young players time to adapt to the Premier League and learn from experienced teammates. This patient approach has worked well with several players who have gone on to bigger clubs. The club's coaching staff deserves credit for improving Boliba's game. When he arrived from Lille, he was already talented but still raw in some areas. Brighton has helped him become more complete as a player. This development model makes Brighton players particularly attractive to bigger clubs. They know that Brighton has already done much of the hard work in terms of coaching and adaptation. Players leaving Brighton are usually ready to make an immediate impact at their new clubs. The international dimension, Cameroon connections. Boliba's nationality adds another interesting dimension to this potential transfer. Cameroon has produced many excellent footballers over the years, and several have succeeded at Manchester United. The presence of Andre Onana at United provides a direct connection to Cameroon football. Onana can help Boliba settle into life in Manchester and adjust to the club's expectations. This kind of support system often makes the difference between successful and unsuccessful transfers. Playing for Manchester United would also raise Boliba's profile in African football. The club has a huge following across the continent, and African players who succeed at United become role models for the next generation. The Cameroon national team would also benefit from having one of their key players at a club like Manchester United. The exposure and experience gained from playing at the highest level in Europe helps improve the overall quality of the national team. What happens next? Possible outcomes. Several scenarios could play out regarding the Boliba transfer. Understanding these possibilities helps fans prepare for different outcomes. The first scenario is that Manchester United meets Brighton's asking price and completes the transfer. This would require significant financial commitment but would give United the player they want. The second possibility is that the clubs negotiate a compromise fee somewhere between what United wants to pay and what Brighton is asking. This often happens in big transfers and could satisfy both parties. A third scenario involves the transfer being delayed until a future window. If the clubs cannot agree on terms now, they might revisit discussions in 6 months or a year. The final possibility is that the transfer falls through completely. This could happen if Brighton refuses to lower their demands, or if United decides the fee is too high. Each outcome would have different implications for both clubs and the player. The coming weeks will likely provide more clarity about which direction this saga is heading. Lessons from similar transfers. Looking at similar transfers in recent years can provide insights into how the Boliba situation might develop. Several young defensive midfielders have moved for large fees, with varying degrees of success. Some transfers have worked out brilliantly, with players justifying their high fees through excellent performances. Others have struggled to adapt to new environments and higher expectations. The key factors that often determine success include the player's mentality, the support system at the new club, and how well their skills fit the team's playing style. Boliba appears strong in all these areas, which suggests he could succeed at Manchester United. However, every transfer is unique, and past examples can only provide limited guidance. The specific circumstances surrounding Boliba's potential move will ultimately determine the outcome. The bigger picture, building for the future. The pursuit of Carlos Boliba represents more than just one transfer. It reflects Manchester United's broader strategy for returning to the top of world football. The club has been rebuilding systematically, focusing on young players who can grow together and form the core of successful teams for years to come. Boliba fits this profile perfectly. Success in modern football requires both immediate impact and long-term planning. By targeting players like Boliba, Manchester United is trying to balance these competing demands. The transfer would also show that United can still attract top young talents despite recent struggles. This reputation is crucial for maintaining the club's status among world football's elite institutions. Conclusion: a transfer that could define United's future. As we have explored throughout this detailed analysis, the potential signing of Carlos Boliba represents much more than just another transfer for Manchester United. This move could define the club's direction for years to come. The young Cameroonian midfielder has all the qualities needed to succeed at the highest level. His technical abilities, physical presence, and football intelligence make him an ideal fit for modern football. At just 21, he has time to develop even further and could become one of the world's best defensive midfielders. The challenges are significant. Brighton's asking price is enormous, and financial fair play regulations add complexity to any potential deal. Manchester United will need to be creative and strategic to make this transfer happen. However, the early signs are encouraging. The player appears interested in the move, current United players are advocating for him, and the manager sees him as a key part of his plans. These factors often matter more than transfer fees in determining success. The involvement of trusted teammates and fellow countrymen in encouraging this move shows the power of personal relationships in football. When players like Lenny Yoro and Andre Onana recommend Manchester United, it carries real weight with potential signings. Whether this transfer happens or not, it demonstrates Manchester United's ambition to compete for the best young talents in world football. The club is thinking strategically about the future and identifying players who could be crucial to long-term success. For Brighton, this situation showcases their excellent development model. They have taken a promising player and helped him reach a level where the biggest clubs in the world want to sign him. This success will help them attract more young talents in the future. The coming weeks will reveal whether Manchester United can turn their interest into a completed transfer. The negotiations will be complex, the stakes are high, and both clubs will need to be flexible to reach an agreement. At Unite United News, we will continue to follow this story closely and bring you all the latest developments. This is exactly the kind of strategic, forward-thinking transfer that could help Manchester United return to the top of English and European football. Remember, for all your Manchester United news, transfer updates, and in-depth analysis, Unite United News remains your most trusted source. We bring you the stories that matter, the details that others miss, and the perspective you need to understand what is really happening at your club. The Carlos Boliba saga is just beginning, and we will be here every step of the way to guide you through one of the most important transfer stories of the summer. Stay with us as this fascinating story continues to unfold.